Hey there, it's Ruth Sherman, CEO and celebrity speech and media coach, but you don't have to be famous to work with me. Today I want to talk about a topic that has been an area of fascination for me in recent months, and the topic is why women don't ask other women for business. Now, this came about because I read an article by a colleague of mine that was published in Fortune, and the link, by the way, is on the page here. Anyway, read the article. I'm curious to know what you think about this. And by the way, although this is talking about women in business, this is also something I think that men would have something to add. So I hope men, if you are watching or if you're reading, you will participate in the discussion. The more we can mix it up, the better, in my opinion. And I'm going to use my notes, by the way, just to stay on track here. But when I read this article, everything just rang true for me. It actually just blew me away because I recognize not only myself, but every dynamic that I'm involved in when I get together with other women at my level, which is a rather senior level at this stage of my career, to network in a business setting and get business done. So here's what I mean. I was speaking at an event recently. This was an event, it was an event in Sonoma where we were together for a series of days, and I spoke on this and at the beginning of the third day. So I asked for a show of hands. And so the question was, how many of you have done business with someone else in this room? Now, just so you know, there were about 50 very high-level, very successful women in the room, and they were all in the same industry. So when I asked that question, a number of hands went up, which makes perfect sense. But then I followed up with this question. We've been here for 2.5 days. We've been drinking a lot of wine. We've been eating together. We've been learning a lot together. We've been spa-ing together. We've been hanging out. How many of you have asked someone in this room for help with something that will advance your business? And 3 hands went up. So I had them read the article, and of course they all recognized themselves and the dynamic as well. This is something that I don't think would happen with men. And I've talked to a number of men, and they've been pretty surprised that they generally get together. When they get together with other guys, a lot of the time is spent seeing how they can help each other advance their business goals. So this is the beginning, I think, of an overdue conversation, one that women have not been having. And the truth is that women let friendships get in the way of business. And this is a shame for many reasons. Now, it's not atypical, and it isn't women's fault because it's how we've been socialized. But those facts, true as they are, shouldn't keep us from trying to change the dynamic. So here are some things that I think are very true about the differences between how women and men handle this type of thing. Men prove trust by asking for favors, asking others to help them. Women fear they will betray trust by asking for favors from their colleagues, from their female colleagues, their friends. Men fear intimacy personally and crave intimacy professionally. Women fear intimacy professionally and crave intimacy personally. For example, when men hear that a colleague needs something, they race to fulfill that need because then that colleague owes them. It becomes a type of currency, and it's a very valuable currency. Women's networks are finally at a point where they are very rich and people are very successful now, and it's up to us to stop shying away from and start taking advantage of it. So here are some of the things that we can do to activate and energize our networks. Number 1 is we have to choose appropriate networks. Don't walk into a room where people either are not your peers or they are too far above you or below you to be of much help and expect anything to happen. Now, if you walk into the right room, somebody in that room should be able to take action on your behalf, or they should know someone who can take action on your behalf and be able to introduce you. Number 2, have an offer ready. This is a two-way street. This is not something that where you just go in and ask and ask and ask. You've got to make offers as well. The third thing is keep your ask short. People go on and on and on. They tell you their life story. No, keep it short, succinct, and and specific. Okay, short, succinct, and specific. Don't say you're looking for a whole industry, introductions to a general industry. No, find out what that industry is, make sure it's specific, and if you have some names, name the people that you'd like to meet and also name the companies that you'd like an in for. Keep track of who helps and who doesn't. If somebody makes promises to you at an event and then they're impossible to reach after you have sent them a few emails or you've called them, then they are not going to be a good referral partner. And they may not have the time, but they're not going to be a good referral partner. You can still be friends, but don't expect them to help you advance your business. Move on. Resist, this is a pet peeve of mine, resist networking organizations that have rules around that discourage business development. I honestly don't understand this. If it's a business networking organization, it's supposed to foster business development, in my opinion. Now, I understand why they do this, and that's because there are people who don't have a filter and who don't recognize that they can't go around hitting everybody they know up for business every single time they see that person. Go back to what I said about having an offer ready. What I have found to be the best thing, the best way to work this is at a networking event, have some time set aside that is dedicated to everybody having a chance to make their ask. Again, short, succinct, and specific. Say that 3 times fast. I clearly can't. And also to make their offer. If you can do that, if you can put it that way, then that gets done and you can get to the social networking piece of it. Let's see here. So I said that already. Don't be afraid to say no, and don't be afraid that you'll be denied. Somebody will say no to you. This is the way it works in business. I think a lot of women avoid this and shy away from this because they don't want to say no, or they don't want to be said no to. Just because it's no today doesn't mean it's going to be no tomorrow. Finally, keep practicing. It gets easier. I've been working on this for a number of years now, and it's gotten much easier, but the situations and the scenario has to be right. So all those other things I said should help with that. Don't be, as I think I have been, and a number of my colleagues have been, an unwitting keeper of the glass ceiling. If we can't approach our friends, the people who know us and are our champions and who love us and who are rooting for our success, if we can't approach them, who can we approach? Thanks for watching. And if you want to learn more about this and a bunch of other topics, hop on over to ruthsherman.com. See you there. Bye-bye.